host, Steve Akley, here at my place, the ABV Barrel Shop, suburban St. Louis. The town is called Arnold, right off Highway 55, which is a main thoroughfare here in the St. Louis metro area. Love for you to come by and see what we have going on and maybe taste some of our whiskey that we've got here on the back shelf. All of that is open and available to taste, and that's what we have out on the sales floor. So you can try before you buy here, and you certainly are encouraged to do so. Don't want you making a mistake on a bottle that costs $75 or $100, something like that. So come by and see us, taste some whiskey, and buy your favorites. We're talking today about favorite things to do, your kind of go-to places when you're going to Kentucky. Most of us that are bourbon fans, particularly someone that's watching a video like this, you're probably deep enough into bourbon that at some point you go to Kentucky. And I know it's easier for places like where I live, St. Louis. Louisville, Kentucky is less than 4 hours from my house. So it's relatively easy for me to go, and a lot of people in this kind of Midwestern area, very simple to get there. I know I'm gonna have to get that. All right, sorry about that. That was a real customer. This is a real store, and sometimes we really have to do business, and that's the priority, not the video. So got that taken care of, and we're ready to go now. So again, we're talking about the go-to places, the places where you feel at home when you're in Kentucky. I've got 5 of them here. These are places that it doesn't matter how many times I go to, I'm always happy to be there. I feel really good when I'm there, and for whatever reason, I don't know, it just feels like it's easy to settle into these places, and these are the places that I enjoy to go. And if you ever see, like on social media, I'm in Kentucky, I'm probably going to be at one of these places. This is the places I'm most likely to be, though I'm always exploring and trying to do new things. These are the ones that I'm going to keep going back to. So the first one, I love everything about it other than the name. They changed the name from Jim Beam Distillery to James B. Beam Distilling Company. That's fine. Ooh, it's a busy morning. Hold on again. ABV Barrel Shop. It's going crazy. So, James B. Beam Distilling Company. And the reason why I don't like that name, everyone knows Jim Beam. That's one of the most famous names in American businesses, not necessarily bourbon even, just American business. People know the name Jim Beam. It transcends bourbon. There's not too many things in bourbon that transcend bourbon. The things that people who have no interest, zero interest at all in bourbon are going to know about if you say something about them. There's a couple, certainly Wild Turkey, if you say that name, most people are going to know, oh, that's a bourbon brand. Most people. Jim Beam, boy, close to 100% would say, yeah, it's a bourbon brand, or it's a man that made bourbon. Both are true, by the way, so, that's kind of cool. And the reason why I don't like this change is I'm not sure why they did it. And they felt it was more reflective of, I'm not sure what, more corporate buttoned-up feel to it. The fact that Jim Beam made bourbon and now they're doing other things. I don't actually know. I think it's this idea of consultants and things like that, and you get too many consultants involved, and they always got to change something because they got to create their value and their worth, right? So they're always going to tell you got to do something different. You hire a consultant, you don't want to say, well, things are great, just keep doing what you're doing. They got to change things, and I feel like this is the one of those things. And here's the reason why I think that I am correct in this assumption. Jim Beam was a real person. Jim Beam made bourbon. The company was named after Jim Beam, not after he died, during his lifetime. And if Jim Beam would have felt we need to make this more buttoned up, we need to make it more official. And he was a pretty buttoned up guy, by the way. He's known for wearing wool suits and Kentucky summers and things like that. Always had a tie on. If he wanted the company to be called James B. Beam Distilling, it would have been called James B. Beam Distilling when he was, owner of the company and actively involved in it. It wasn't. It was called Jim Beam. And I know that the story is it was named by other people that came up with it. He's the one who brought the brand back. And, a short time after Prohibition was able to get it up and running. And people, attributed that to him and were like, we're going to name the company after you because they lost the name Old Tub during Prohibition, and which had been their name before. And so it comes back as Jim Beam. And Jim Beam could have said at that point even, okay, I'm fine with you naming it after me, but it has to be James B. Beam. He didn't say that. Jim Beam was the name of the company. So if I would start a bourbon brand and I was like, this is Steve Akley Bourbon, I don't want some descendants down the road saying, oh, he really wanted it to be Stephen Akley bourbon or something else. I want it to be what I called it, and I think that's why I don't like it. So I'm never calling that. It's always going to be Jim Beam to me. So Jim Beam, but I love everything else about it. I love the campus. I love the atmosphere. I love what they've done with the gift shop. So the gift shop is relevant because if you collect things like I do, like a little book, I know that I don't have to scurry around, stand in line, go driving all over St. Louis whenever little book comes out. I can just go to the distillery. And I'm going to be going to Kentucky anyway, so it's not like I got to get in the car, drive, pick up a bottle or two of Little Book, and then drive back. And, oh, yeah, sure, you got it, but you had to burn a whole day. I'm going to be in Kentucky anyway, so I just, at my leisure, drive over there. And how leisurely is it? I was just there. 2025 has just come out. It was available on the shelf. By the way, if I had missed 2024, that too is on the shelf. So literally, you don't have to sweat these things if you're going to be going to Kentucky. Don't stand in line. Don't overpay. Oh my God, I got to get this. I'm going to overpay. Just go pick it up for retail cost at the distillery. Easy thing to do. So I think that's great. I love the campus too. I got the rocking chairs everywhere. If you just want to chill out a little bit, maybe feel a little bit like a bourbon baron, sit on one of the porches in a rocking chair thinking, this is probably how Jim Beam felt back in the day, looking at this place and being like, this is all mine. And it's named after me. And it's got a cool name too. It's not this corporate stiff name like James B. Beam. This is the Jim Beam Distillery. I love this. I feel like, I get a little bit of that in me when I'm sitting there. It's like, man, how cool is that to be involved in a business like that flourishes, employs so many people, has a big thing for the Kentucky economy, not just, for the business itself and for the families of the people, but for Kentucky in general. I think that's pretty cool. So it had to feel pretty good to be a guy like Jim Beam with that successful of a business. And then the last thing that I like about it, I love the new kitchen table restaurant. I think that the food there is really good. They make, good pizza. They got good cocktails there. I kind of like, everything that's going on, and that's why I'm a fan of Jim Beam. I've always been a Jim Beam fan. That's where I got my start in bourbon. I was a Jim Beam drinker from the beginning and started out, we all got a story. We all got here some way, and everybody can be cool and be like, oh, I started out at Little Book or whatever it is, I got going on Blanton's. And there's some people like that out there, I'm sure. But most of us got started on something pretty basic. My basic one was Jim Beam White Label and Coke. That's what I drank when I was in college, Beam and Coke. And the fact that it comes full circle and it's this brand now that has some special allocated items that I like and other, are you kidding me? Normally we don't get a phone call in a day. I got to take this and then, spam risk. So it's going to be, I'll do this one while I'm here. Just double. Sometimes it is a person there, so you do have to answer. ABV Barrel Shop. No, nothing there. If you wait long enough, eventually, because they're apparently, when you get these things, they're doing like 40 or 50 different calls. And eventually, they see, oh, I got a live one here. Oh, let me forget all these other ones that are dialing. I'll talk to the person. It's junk. I hated that it's, business. We have to be involved in that. Again, you have to answer the phone, because every once in a while I'll say spam risk and I'll pick it up and be a live person with a question. So there you go. But Jim Beam, great place where I got my start, and I love going back there and I feel at home when I'm there for some reason. They don't know who I am, but I feel like I know them, and I know the family story there and the history, and it just feels good to me. Next up is Buzzard's Roost. When I'm on Whiskey Row, I'm going to stop at Buzzard's Roost. I'm going to go sit at the bar and have an old fashioned. That's what I like to do. It's pretty basic need there. It's the classic bourbon cocktail. It's at a good spot, kind of, middle-ish of Whiskey Row. So there's places you can leave there and go to the left, go to the right. It doesn't matter. Go across the street. There's all kinds of cool places to go. But Buzzard's Roost always feels good. Jason is there every day. Not there every day, all day. But you have a decent chance of seeing him there. And he's a good friend of mine, and I enjoy going to Buzzard's Roost and seeing him. And I like the cocktails, and I think that their employees are great. So Jimmy James, usually you'll see him right at the door. He might work there every hour that they're open, because I've never been in there and he's not been there. So big booming voice guy, fun guy to be around. And so ask for Jimmy James when you go there. He's probably the first person you're going to see when you open the door. At least it always happens to me. Next up, when I'm on Whiskey Row as well, Michter's Bar. That I love going there. There's only so many times you can take a tour of a place like that. And I will go and hit their gift shop, and every once in a while they'll have something cool like Shanks or Baumburgers. I really love Baumburgers. That's one of my favorite whiskeys. And every once in a while you can score something like that. If they don't have something like that, that's okay. Just, ask if you can get into the bar. If there's nobody up there, you probably can go in right away. If not, you might have to, set a time up. But it's cool. It's kind of like this Mad Men kind of look vibe to it. 1960s bar. It kind of takes you back. It's like, man, I wish I could have been a part of that. Seemed like it was some really cool times to be a bourbon fan. And so it's kind of cool, kind of swanky, hip, but without being like hipster. I'm too old to go to a hipster place. I can't get into the skinny jeans. I mean, other than that, I got the beard and stuff. I could be a hipster. I got the funny glasses. But man, those skinny jeans just don't work for me. So a place like Michter's where you don't have to feel like that is a cool place to go. And I like the staff there too. And they've been pretty good to me through the years when I've gone there. So I like that place. Bourbon's Bistro. So another Jason Bronner place. This is one of the places that really helped launch my career in bourbon, because Jason Bronner used to let me stay at Bourbon's Bistro, and I've told that story on here before. But when I was starting out, I didn't have money for hotel rooms in Louisville because it's kind of pricey. And Bronner used to let me stay at Bourbon's Bistro. So the place would close down, and they've got an event center upstairs, and I would just go sleep on a couch up there. And that's how that's what allowed me to stay in bourbon and go there 2 weeks out of the month and just stay there for free. How cool is that? So Jason's a really special guy to me. I like it because he's usually there each evening too. You need to look, usually about after 8 o'clock, something like that. He's committed to both these businesses. So you can go see him at Buzzard's Roost, probably during the day, hanging out. And then in the evening, like I said, after about some family time, usually, kind of has dinner with the family, hangs out with the family a little bit. And then it's like, hey, I got to go up to the joint and hang out with the folks up there. And he'll be at Bourbon's Bistro, where he's shaking hands with customers, talking whiskey behind the bar, usually not making drinks, by the way. He's going to be there talking and chatting with people, and which is pretty cool experience. So love Bourbon's Bistro. The last one is Neely Family Distillery. Again, also feels like home for me. I stayed at Neely too when I would be working in bourbon. Royce, saw that, I was staying at Bistro and said, hey, if you're this part of the world, you can stay in the distillery. So I used to stay at the distillery quite a bit. And it's always just kind of felt like home to me. So I like Royce and his wife, Becca. Of course, Becca's from they met via my podcast, The Bourbon Daily. And I like Royce's parents too. So Michelle and Roy, good people. Papaw, I spent many hours because I'd be staying at the distillery. He'd be the first one to arrive. He'd usually get things going. He's busy. He's working and busy and things like that. But then once he kind of got things going, Roy still wouldn't be there yet. So it'd be just him and I at the distillery. So he'd usually sit down and, talk to me for a bit and, tell those great stories that he had. And I don't know. It's unfortunate that he's passed away, but it's kind of cool that Royce had that time that he did with him. So almost 10 years at the distillery, which is pretty cool stuff. And a lot of that time was spent just him and his grandfather, working that place, building it up. And his grandfather thankfully got to see some of the success, the achievements that Royce got. I think that's one of his proudest things, to be able to see his grandson, somebody that he was actively involved with. Royce's parents both worked, and he would stay with his grandparents, during the day. He didn't have daycare or anything like that. He'd stay with his grandparents. So he spent a lot of time with his grandma and grandpa. And the fact that he was able to start this business and then work side by side with his grandpa is pretty cool stuff. And Neely family always feels like home to me. I'm treated well there. I enjoy that place. I think they're doing some great things in terms of making whiskey, and I enjoy seeing their success and achievements. It's one of those things, if you're close enough to people, you feel pretty good about it. You feel so invested in it, you feel the happiness of their success. So pretty cool thing. And I always enjoy seeing what's going on with Neely. So that's 5 places that are my go-tos. In the comments down below, please share the places that you like to go to and feel at home. I think that would be pretty cool. And whatever it is, there's no wrong answers there, because it's how you feel. What makes you feel like at home? Those are 5 that make me feel like at home. Let me hear what are yours. That's it for now. Sorry about all the phone calls today. See ya.